Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. In this video, I'll be briefly discussing my thoughts on episode 1 of the anime series, Madan no U to Vanadis, or Lord Marksman and Vanadis. And this was one of the series I was actually looking really forward to checking out, and it's one of the only ones that actually caught my attention, and I wanted to stick with after the first episode, because basically from the PV, it really reminded me of this kind of sort of, aesthetic that we got with a recent series, Blade and Soul, which I covered, and after now watching the first episode, I really kind of also have like a mixture of Blade and Soul and maybe like a Malyusha kind of framework or aesthetic going on with the character dynamics and everything with this series. The only thing is, it seems like they're going a mile a minute. It might be a little bit rushed here because I feel like this first episode, we got like 3 episodes worth of story arc, that kind of thing. It seems like they're not stopping to take a breath and letting us get used to this world, which picks up with this battle. We are introduced to the main 2 characters, at least seemingly the main 2. Tiger or Tiger, I'm not exactly sure how we pronounce that. It's short for his longer, name. But essentially he is a nobleman and a warrior, that kind of thing, and his entire faction is wiped out by a competing kingdom led by the Vanadis, in this case Eleonora, or Ellen for short, who basically sees his resolve and sees that he's very calm and methodical even after seeing his whole faction get wiped out, and using the bow and arrow, he's basically going to still try to strike her. So this impresses her, and she decides to spare his life and kind of take him as a prisoner of war, that kind of thing. And I guess because of the sort of framework of this world, it's not really delved into too deeply, and I'm sure it's probably explored more in the light novel this was based on, which I haven't actually read, that, basically he doesn't go running at the first opportunity because he's pretty well taken care of, and he's got this Ellen sort of, putting the moves on him a little bit. I mean, even her men and everything are jealous of him, thinking she must have romantic aspirations toward him and all this kind of stuff, and she's going to revel in that. She gets a kick out of that. It's kind of a thorn in the side of her sort of right-hand woman, Lim, or Limlisha, I think is how the name is pronounced, who was, as it turns out, one of the knights on horseback that was first struck by Tiger when he was going to try to take Ellen out. And so there are different dynamics going on here, and of course he's wandering around after being put to the test with the bow and arrow and being made fun of and all this stuff in front of a crowd, and then we find that there's an assassin who tries to kill Ellen. He ends up taking out the assassin's foot with an arrow over, so many yards or whatever their rate of measurement is, I forget exactly. And it's just very interesting to me that they're sidled up together in this very sort of precarious position, and of course, we find that one of the, right-hand men of Tiger comes calling at some point. He's captured. Bertrand is the guy's name, and he had already passed on to, I don't know if this is a familial relation or somebody in Tiger's hometown called Tita, I guess. I don't know if it's like a sister or what have you, maybe even a maid, I don't know, because he has a manor house, as we pretty much see glimpses of. Basically, Bertrand relates the fact that there's another sort of, force that's going to be moving on his town, and by the end of this episode, after yet another brief little aside where he's been wandering around and he comes upon Ellen bathing, and she's like, I want you, and does that mean in a romantic light, or does that mean I'll do anything I can to make you a part of my army kind of situation? Still not thoroughly sure on all of that, but basically with this news, Tiger decides he's going to go and fend off whatever forces are going to be going against his town, marching against his little burg, and we have Ellen kind of calling him on it and being like, where the hell do you think you're going? So that's where we end, and it's just like a whirlwind of an episode. There's also a little sort of dragon spawn that she has as a pet or something like that, and it's very intriguing. I'm definitely going to be watching it. I don't think as yet I have plans to cover it episodically in reviews, but I may decide to. And so yeah, it definitely was an interesting episode. I can't wait to see more. Do kind of hope they slow things down a little bit from this point, but we'll have to see. And otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.